Driving the oldest car I have ever driven on this channel. The Air. Oh shit. I just ripped off the thing. I've lost it. I've lost the thing. Welcome to Downshift. My name is Matt and I've got a very special car with me here today. You guys might not know this, I don't tell this story very often, but I started Downshift because I had gone out and bought a BMW E30. You may have seen that on the channel if you were like within the first 1,000 subscribers before the Subaru killed it, but this is the predecessor to my car. This is the BMW 2002, an icon for the BMW Roundel. And thanks to my new friend Dylan, I'm down here just outside of Chicago and I'm spending the day with it. So let's walk around the BMW 2002. Let's do some housekeeping before we dive too far. This is a 1974 BMW 2002, and 74 means it's the facelifted version. You can tell because the taillights are not round, they're square. But let's talk about some of the overarching cultural significance. Now, the 2002 had two styles. There was the 1968 to the 1973. That was the roundy, or the round taillights. And then, like I mentioned, this is the refresh, or the facelift, I guess you could say, from 1974 to 1977. It had the more squared off style taillights. And this car kind of represents the original Neue Klasse, something BMW is revisiting now for their new generation of EVs. But this, of course, was a totally different thing. So the Neue Klasse and 02 cars were hugely successful sales-wise for the company, and some even say that they are crediting these cars for saving BMW as a company. And you may be wondering where the naming convention 2002 came from. Well, these cars were the predecessors to the 3 Series. It was after this generation that we got into the E30 generation, or the first generation of 3 Series, you can think of it. And the engine here, the M10, used in the 2002 here, was in production from 1962 to 1988. And BMW's championship-winning M12 Formula One engine was based off of this engine's block. The M10 is a legend, and it traces its heritage through motorsport. Well, we've talked about it enough, we might as well show you the M10. This makes about 100 horsepower and 105 pound-feet of torque. This is a carbureted car. We've got an upgraded carb, it's a Weber here, and we've got the TII exhaust manifold. And again, about 100 horsepower, and we're gonna see how all those 100 ponies feel as we get it on the road at the end of the video. But then power goes from that engine through a 4-speed manual transmission, and then it gets its way to the rear wheels. And the car itself, we'll talk about weight and suspension kind of dynamic stuff here, and then we'll kind of have a stream of consciousness kind of driving portion at the end. The car itself here is about 2,000 pounds. It's very apt for the name of this car. We've got McPherson struts up front with a semi-trailing arm independent rear suspension. Dylan's got upgraded Bilstein shocks here on his car. We don't have any power steering, so we're gonna have to work for it today. And we'll talk about the shift action and the pedal box and all that sort of stuff as we get behind the wheel. But one of the best things about the 2002 is just how incredible it looks. It's the 2-door coupe, you've got the iconic shark nose, and we've got the tiny little baby kidney grille up front. Circular headlights in typical BMW fashion makes me miss my E30. Around the side, we've got 14-inch BBS kind of basket weave style wheels wrapped in uniroyal rubber. And the profile looks actually kind of aggressive. It almost looks like the top of the car is leaning forward like a sprinter in the Olympics. Again, that kind of shark nose. And then out back, you've got a very large overhang. And the thing that we didn't talk about is this chrome band that goes around the entire perimeter of the car. Looks really, really tasteful with this, I think it's Amazon green. Also, should mention, we've got turbo-style fender flares and a turbo bumper up front, which just looks the business, don't you think? I really like this green. This is a factory color. I want to say it was Amazon green that he said, but it looks fantastic. But around back, you've got your fuel filler cap over here, 2002, very subtle, and an offset exhaust. In some of the earlier cars, you had a center exit exhaust, but it looks like it was gonna be a center, and they were like, we should put it off here on the right. Then you've got your tow hitch back there as well. But ultimately, one of the most tasteful and beautiful cars that I've ever had the pleasure of reviewing, and possibly ever even looking at. And it's not just a pretty face, it's pretty practical. Got 16 cubic feet of storage here. Dylan says he travels a bunch with his wife. They can get 2 checked bags in this boot or trunk. And it doesn't have the like fold down tool kit that I had on my E30, but he said it does come with a tool roll up. This is part of it. And then there was a jack that was also part of it. And as you can see, owning a vintage car, he's getting it prepped for a rally. He's gonna do almost 1,000 miles in this thing later in the month. So good luck to him. full faith in the O2. And we mentioned practicality a second ago with the trunk. So not only can you bring your stuff with you, but you can bring some friends with you. I mean, you have actual usable rear seats back here. Dylan said he's gotten like 4 adults in this car. And I can see how. You've got plenty of headroom. You've got reasonable leg room. I mean, there's more room in the back of this 2002 than there is in the back of a modern M240. And I absolutely love the houndstooth and the saddle brown leather that he's got here. As we move up the cabin, we'll talk about the front seats. They're just kind of tasteful. There's nothing super crazy going on. I don't even think they're heated, but it's just a nice saddle brown Recaro with a houndstooth cloth inner, and it just kind of works. We'll talk more about this feel as we drive the car later on. Then touching on the interior as a whole, check it out. You got frameless doors, frameless windows, kind of some ribbed upholstery and leather here in the door card, crank windows. You've got the kind of spin out or kick out smoker friendly style windows here. And he says, obviously there's no air conditioning, so this is a must. But you've got this built-in dash cubby. This is something that I compliment new cars for introducing, and BMW's had it since the mid-70s or even earlier. We've got our little shift pattern up here. He's made some modifications of his own. These cars don't come with cup holders, but he's got a little modification that he's been able to make. This radio is actually a modern unit, and you've got Bluetooth connection, but it looks like an old vintage radio. All of these physical controls, plunger styles for your lights and your rear defrost, and there's something going on with the seatbelt warning. You have to have it kind of uninstalled, or you had to have it kind of uninstalled from the dealer when you first got it, because it's apparently very, very annoying. But ultimately, it's a tight but high quality interior that seems to have held up pretty well. And again, I like some of these mats. He said he's gonna get new ones, but I think it kind of works in like an off-match kind of fashion with the seats. And I know you guys wanna see me get behind the wheel, so we're gonna talk about price last here. The original MSRP for this car was around $5,000, and now clean ones are selling for the low teens to the mid-high 20s. You can spend even more if you want on ultra clean examples, and I think it might be kind of worth it. These are just a little bit less expensive than a really clean or comparable E30, and I think that means it's time to get behind the wheel and see how it drives.
Right.
Sick, man. I'm stoked. This will be cool.
I'll let you shut.
Hopefully I don't need to call you when anything goes wrong. All right, thank you.
All right.
This is so cool, dude. This is like a meet your heroes kind of situation. Oh yeah. Driving the oldest car I have ever driven on this channel. Yeah, no power steering, you gotta work for it. It's warm in here, boys. It is warm in here. Yep, clutch all the way at the top of the pedal. Really notchy throws. He said he replaced the bushings. This is cool. It does feel, I mean, these work exceptionally well. I'm getting it all on my forearms, which is kind of where I want the air. Oh shit. I just ripped off the thing. I've lost it. I've lost the thing. All right, we're gonna be real gentle with this guy. Oh, I'm in reverse now. Okay, we're good. Everything's fine again. Shifting knob is back on. Everything's fine. (3,000 RPM in second gear, under 30 miles an hour. Very defined bite point for the clutch. This actually would not be that intimidating if you were learning to drive stick. Not a whole lot of bite in the brakes. Oh my God. Why am I nervous? I'm nervous to get onto this street. Should we go? There we go. Yes. Oh yeah. This is so cool. There's a cacophony of wind noises happening. Why is it not coming out of gear? I gotta try to close these a bit. That's better. That'll be better for audio. I love that I can reach across the entire car and do window stuff. I love being in these old cars because everything vibrates. Everything is mechanical. Everything is connected. I'm watching the shifter just vibrate here. I can feel the vibrations coming through my seat. I'm watching my cameras just kind of shake a little bit in the windshield. Like, you're just so part of the car. The shifter is far away from me. If I get any closer, I'll be too close with my knees. But the shifter is like, I'm at full extension in the first gear. It revs fast. There's just so much noise. And you have to have the window open, otherwise it's so... Let's see if we can close that one off. That'll be fine. That'll be fine. All right, so I'm in fourth. Rev match downshift. Easy peasy. It's a normal car. There's a little play in the steering wheel. It's a steering box, not a rack. Okay. This Sequoia out of the way. I'm gonna come down into second. What's he doing? All right, we're going for speed. Overtake time. Yes. 100 thundering horsepower. Overtaking the Sequoia. There's nothing going to the wheels with this. Oh, it's so funny. I mean, this is cool, dude. I'm chilling at 45 in fourth, 2,500 RPM. I'm very much a part of the experience. The ride is decent. The seats are very skinny. Oh, look, a Temerario. Oh, that's a Revuelto. Okay, fine. Who's got the cooler car, this or the Revuelto? I'm liking sitting here right now. This is just cool, man. When I had my E30, I would see these on the road and I would be like, I want to drive one of those so bad. They look so freaking cool. You see somebody in a 2002 and you're like, that guy's got insane wheel knowledge. That dude knows what's up. And like, you're so part of the experience here. The smell, like there's fuel smell and there's air coming into the cabin and there's vibration in the seats. Rev matching for downshifting is easy. Pedal box is great. They're floor mounted pedals. Would like a little bit more from the brakes, but other than that, sorry Civic. Let's see if we can outdrag the Civic. Yes. This is cool, man. It's not fast. You gotta work for it, but the whole point of me doing these videos is I give you like my raw first impressions. This is my first time behind the wheel. Like you've seen every second of me behind the wheel. There's none of me driving this car that you haven't seen. And like just these couple minutes, I'm getting so much more familiar with the shifter and the clutch and the pedal box. And like, it's very quickly starting to feel like home. The steering is pretty slow. The brakes could use a little bit more bite. We got Willwood brakes on this thing, which of course are not factory, I don't believe. But this is just such a unique and authentic experience. And at the same time, this is the oldest car I've ever reviewed on the channel. It still feels fairly modern. I mean, there's a bunch of play here in the steer and like all the stuff that we've talked about, but like, this is fine. This is fine. Dylan says he dailies this living in Chicago, which legendary stuff doing that, but like, you could. Here we go, we're gonna make this light. Because of the mighty M10, it's cool, man. I really like it. It's so small. Without even leaning over, I can reach my hand over here. I'm starting to get a lot of fumes coming in now. So we might want to adjust our little windows here. There, now it's gonna catch the air, and now it's putting it down onto my legs and my hands. That's actually really nice. Downshifting is great in this thing. Get into the pedal for brakes. God, this is cool, man. It's just fun. It's just fun. And for the money to have something that's like this iconic, I've driven past a few people and they like all kind of just look and smile. because I'm just in this tiny green car. And it makes little brap-raps noises and all sorts of stuff. It's just pretty cool. Handles decent. Yeah, getting very familiar now. It's a nice shift throw. It's far away from my wingspan, but like it's nice and notchy. Clutch engagement's good. It's right at the top of the pedal. So I don't know, I like it. I really like it. It makes me want another E30. Maybe one of these. Could use a little bit more brakes. Modern brakes in the E30 I think would be good. But other than that, this is great. This is super cool. Super grateful that I get a chance to do this. So thank you to Dylan for letting me borrow his car for the day. Thank you to you guys for watching. And we'll see you in the next one. Let me know what you think of the 2002 down in the comments. I am hot, I am sweaty, but I had a good time. Thanks again for watching. If you've made it this far in the video, I can assume you either enjoyed the video or at least you found it helpful, which is why I'd like to spend a moment here asking for you to support us here on Downshift. There's a couple ways that you can do it. We've got YouTube memberships for a couple bucks a month. We've got merch in a description below. And I know that times are tight and you might not be able to spare any extra money. But what I would ask you then, at the very least, is to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. You have no idea how far it goes in helping us get access to cars sooner, get access to manufacturer engineers so we can get better information, and also it helps us build our team so we can make better videos for you in the future. So again, with that, would ask your support, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care. No, this was super cool, man. Thank you for letting me do this. Yeah. I've always wanted to drive one of these ever since I had my E30, so it was really cool.
Like the first